Hello, Storyhouse. This is Mitesh. You might recognise me from a few of the Grosvenor Park outdoor shows. Last year in the Borrowers when I was rapping as a cricket and also throwing water bombs at people. Sorry if I got you wet. And the year before when I played Roger in Swallows and Amazons. And if you saw the show, you might remember my monkey. Yep, he's alive and he's here today. So you take a seat with me. Now, we're here today because I've been asked to read an extract from Millions, which has been requested by Tilly, aged 12. Hello. So let's have a listen to Millions. The minute we arrived at school next morning, we were surrounded by people trying to sell us stuff. Anthony bought 2 micro scooters, boxed, an original Harry Potter Swatch watch, a videotape of the Blair Witch Project. Someone said if you watched it, you died. So we never did. A real leather football signed by the actual treble-winning Man United team. A packet of freeze-dried space ice cream. A pen that writes underwater. And a digital camera disguised as a pen. We didn't have the right kind of computer to get the pictures on it. People tried to sell us rubbish as well. For instance, those toys you get in Happy Meals, or the make-your-own crystal garden set, which 5 different people tried to sell me and which no one ever tried to make. But it didn't matter. If we said no, someone else could buy it. Everyone had money now because nearly everyone had sold something to us. There was money everywhere. Money was a craze like Yaki Yo-Yos or Beyblades. Football was out. The playground was one big garage sale. Mr. Quinn came over to me and said, "Lots of excitement on the playground today, Damien." I said, "It's all very unenlightening." He looked at me a bit strangely. Anthony wanted to buy some candy on the way home, but when we got to the shop, the shelves were almost empty. They'd bought everything except Fisherman's Friends and Windex. The shopman said, "What's going on? Where's it all come from?" Anthony decided we shouldn't go there anymore just in case. I didn't buy anything much personally, though I did manage to get to the repository shop at the back of St. Margaret Mary's. I got statues of St. Francis, St. Martin de Porres, the Little Flower, Gerard Magella and the Child of Prague. I got miraculous medals of St. Benedict, St. Bernadette and St. Anthony. They had a St. Christopher, but I don't count him as a proper saint personally. They had colourful cards of all the above, plus St. Michael the Archangel with a burning sword. They all fitted on my windowsill. It was a different matter with the micro scooters and the Airzuka. Anthony tried to squeeze everything under the bed, but there was hardly any space because of the Subutio and the money. "You'll have to put them in your den." "It's not a den, it's a hermitage, and I don't want it clustered up with my worldly goods, that's the whole point." "You know what we could do? We could rent a garage, a storage unit." "I don't know why we don't just tell Dad. What's the point of having all this stuff when we can't even play with it?" Okay. We'll play Subutio." He didn't actually want to play, he was just making a point. We spread the cloth out on the floor and it was so green, it was like having a real little lawn in your room. You flick the player with your finger and the player flicks the ball. Sometimes you miss the ball, then it's the other one's turn. Anthony could hit the ball 5 or 6 times in a row and I'd move the linesman up and down the touchline. We barely spoke as we played and the cloth seemed to grow bigger and greener, so it was like being on a real field, except it was quiet and everyone did what you told them to. Anthony flicked one in from the wing that dropped into the centre. There was nothing between him and my goal. You're allowed to move your goalie while the other one takes his kick. He shot. I quickly moved my St. Gerard Magella statue into the goal. The ball hit the skull at St. Gerard's feet and went bouncing off down the pitch into Anthony's area. "What the heck was that supposed to be?" I prayed. "You can't pray in football." "Excuse me, Brazilians pray all the time. They're always crossing themselves." "Saints do not come down and kick the ball for them." "How do you know? They always win." If you could have a saint, I can have an action man. So Anthony laid his action man across the mouth of the gull. What? Where's the logic in that? You can pray to a saint, you can't pray to a doll. Action man is not a doll. A doll is a doll, and Action Man, I hate to tell you, is a doll. It's got a grappling hook. Barbie with a grappling hook. What are you talking about, Barbie? It's a bloke. It's got grip action hands. St. Francis can talk to animals. Dr. Stupid Doolittle can talk to animals. Are you going to play him out on left? We were so absorbed in this discussion that we didn't hear anyone coming up the stairs or opening the door until it was too late. Until Dad was looking down at the Subbuteo and saying, "Where the bloody heck did that come from?" Anthony can lie so fast it feels like the truth, but blurred. "Won it," he said. "Won it for what?" "Art." He was actually picking up speed. It was amazing. "Art? What did you do? Paint the Sistine Chapel?" "Made a model." "What of?" "You know, what's it called? Tracy Island. It's excellent. The best." "Excellent. The best." Dad said the words slowly to himself, as though they were his favourite flavour. He was lost. That's the other thing about Anthony's lies. They weren't just quick, they were tasty. People wanted to swallow them. Dad looked at me. I did a St. Rock. There's no patron saint of lying. You tell a lie, you're on your own. To get nautical about this, we were getting into murky waters. The first chance I got, I retreated to the Hermitage to contemplate my situation. I took St. Francis with me to help me focus. Unfortunately, Anthony had got there first. The place was cluttered up with material possessions, namely the 2 microscooters, boxed, and the Airzuka. There was no chance of a visitation as long as they were there. I went and got the tartan blanket that used to be in the trunk of the car and covered them up with it so it looked like a couch. It was better than looking like a shop window. I stood the statue of St. Francis up on the back of it, looking down at me. It was one of those him holding a bird's nest. The minute I put it down, I had my idea. I got a wad of money from under the bed, remembering to zip it tight afterwards and to push the Subbuteo back in front of it. Then I took the money down to the shopping centre. Just as you go in, there's a place that used to be a swimming pool, but now it's a pet shop. There's a massive catfish in the baby pool, and the main pool is ornamental carp. If you dip your fingers in the water, the fish come up and let you stroke their heads. The staff say it's because they're friendly. It could be because they want to get out of there, though. You can't tell with fish. All around the poolside, where the changing lockers used to be, that's where they keep the birds. Hundreds and hundreds of them piled up on top of each other in little cages. It's very noisy, not because of the singing, but because of wings buzzing like pages in a flicker book. I asked the bloke if I could buy some. "Sure, what do you want? Zebra finches?" "Yeah." "Our canaries are going cheap." "Ha ha ha." "I'll have some of them as well." "We do have parakeets and cockatiels, that type of thing." "They sound good." "You'll have to make up your mind." But the nice thing about being rich is that you don't have to make up your mind. I was thinking of having some of each. He looked none too certain, so I showed him my money, and then he looked worse. I said, "It was given me after my mum died." So he took me round with a shopping cart. When you choose a bird, they put it in a little box, a bit like a cake box with holes in it. I tried to pick one from each cage. It was hard to choose, but I asked for guidance and did my best. And after one trip round the poolside, I had 24 boxes of birds and no cash left. The man helped me push the cart to the door. "You'll have to bring that back, you know. How are you getting home?" "Oh, I'm not going far. I'll bring the cart back right away." I pushed the cart over the road and took the path up the rise. When I got to the top, I lined up all the boxes. I opened the first one, then the next. Nothing happened. You have to tip the box a bit when you open it. If you do, the birds inside fan their wings, lift their necks and fly off. I opened the next box and tipped it, and the next, and the next. Birds exploded from the boxes like fireworks. Parakeets went off like rockets. Zebra finches went up like showers of sparks. The cockatiels screamed as they whirled away into the sky, flying round and around each other. The whole sky was full of colours and singing. In case you don't know, this is what St. Francis did when he was my age, i.e. in 1190. He bought some birds from the market and let them go. So I was actually doing a saintish thing. In fact, St. Francis didn't have a shopping cart, so he probably didn't do it as many birds as me. So technically, I was being more saintly even than him. The parakeets flew low over my head, like they were trying to thank me. Their long red tails streamed out behind them like fire. I turned around to watch them, and there was a man behind me, in a tatty brown gown with a bald head and a big hole in the back of each hand. "Well," he said, "this brings back memories." I said, "St. Francis of Assisi, 1181 to 1226. Thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed that extract of Millions. Tilly, that was just for you and for everyone else that's reading. I'm going to say goodbye now, but please remember, if there's any other books you want us to read, then request it in the comment box below, and we shall hopefully see you at Storyhouse very soon. Stay safe and keep reading.